Hi everyone, welcome to my talk. My name is Zhang Xuehao. I am a PhD student from Lanzhou University. I'm glad to be here to share with you our recent work based on these two papers. One has been published and one has already been submitted. The title is Resolving Galactic Binaries Using a Network of Space-borne Gravitational Wave Detectors. This is a data analysis problem. The objects we are talking about are galactic binaries. Here, a capital G means that these are binaries in our Milky Way, in our galaxy. And the plural form of a binary means that we are talking about not only one signal, but a huge population of galactic binary signals. According to astrophysical models, there are expected to be 30 million galactic binaries in our Milky Way in LISA band, and those are mostly comprised of wide world binaries and below 5 millihertz. And the huge population and highly overlap of the sources makes resolving individual sources quite challenging. And this is a figure. This is a figure showing in time domain what real data will look like. It's comprised of different type of sources, like here, including the massive black hole binaries. And here is the same figure, but in frequency domain, we see that the red one is our galactic binaries and is dominant over other type of sources, including the massive black hole here, and also other type of sources like M rays, which is extreme mass ratio spirals. So we see from this figure that we need to resolve as many as possible the individual galactic binary sources to make the estimation of other type of sources possible, because it's quite dominant compared to other sources. And also, galactic binary itself also contains the information of galactic binary itself. For example, the evolution and formation of the binaries, and also we can use the data to draw the map of galactic binaries in our Milky Way. In spite of the difficulties of huge population and highly overlap, for single GB sources, the simple waveform makes things much easier. In terms of H plus and H cross, it's simply linear chirps, and for the response called TDI to a single GB, we only need 8 parameters to characterize a single GB signal. And also, a key feature is that it's very narrow in frequency domain, and that feature allows us to apply some approximations or techniques, for example, white noise approximation, and also we can use undersampling to reduce the data length without any loss of information. So what we did is we developed our pipeline called GBSIEVER. The full name is Galactic Binary Separation by Iterative Extraction and Validation using Extended Range. And the whole process is very straightforward. The first is bandpass data. This is because of the fact that single GB response in frequency domain is quite narrow. So bandpass data into 0.02 MHz frequency band. And also we apply other techniques to eliminate the edge effect. The edge effect is that without these techniques, we find a lot of fake sources around the edges. And then secondly, in each frequency band, we can do the following in parallel. In each band, we find the loudest GB signal using MLE and PSO, and we subtract it from the data. And then repeat it, we find the loudest, and we subtract it until no more signals can be found in the data. After that, we extended our PSO search range for f dot, which is frequency derivative, and we repeat the whole process, repeat from 2 to 4. And we cross-validate the result, which means we only keep the estimated sources, which is found in both PSO search range results. and which is called the cross-validation. This is our simplified flowchart of GBSIEVER, describing the process I mentioned in the last slide, but without including the cross-validation. And here we use PSO to find the maximum of likelihood ratio, which is the standard method to estimate parameters, and it turns the problem to be a global optimization problem. So for global optimization problems, we can use different methods. In our paper, we use so-called particle swap optimization, which is inspired by the behavior of the flock of a bird. And compared to other methods like grid-based search and MCMC, is quite efficient and accurate. And then we apply our GBSIEVER pipeline to the simulated data. And the simulated data description is listed here. We use simulated Taiji and LISA, and the data contains 30 million galactic binaries and instrumental noise without any other type of sources. And the blue line is instrumental noise, and the green line is galactic binaries. And the observation duration is 2 years. And our results are in 3 aspects. The first one is the source resolution performance, which is how many sources can we estimate from the data. And this figure is showing you the histogram of RMDC. And the RMDCs are associated to each estimated sources. And R measures how close is the estimated signal to the corresponding true signals. The confirmed sources are those sources which has R greater than 0.9. And we can calculate the detection rate, and it means the portion of confirmed sources to the full set of data, the full set of estimated called reported sources. And we show that for a network analysis, it boosts the number of confirmed sources by 75%. Now let's look at the parameter estimation performance. Remember that for each signal, we use 8 parameters to characterize each single GB signal. And here this figure is plotting all the errors of each parameters of each source. And we see that red one represents LISA-Taiji network result is narrower than the blue one, which shows the performance on the parameter estimation. And now we turn to our third aspect of a result, residuals. The green line is our original data, and we estimate the parameters of signals, and we subtract the reported sources from the original data, and we get this blue line and the red line here. The blue line is the LISA alone result, and red is for LISA-Taiji detector network result, and the gray is represents instrumental noise. And we see that above 4 MHz, both the LISA alone result and LISA-Taiji result reaches the instrumental noise level, but below around 4 MHz, we are not able to make it a level of instrumental noise because a huge population and highly overlapped. But we still see a huge improvement for LISA-Taiji network analysis. And here this figure is showing you what is an ideal GB background may look like. We apply a method of Carnice's 2021, which perfectly removes all the sources above certain threshold. And this gray curve and this black curve and dark gray curve can be a reference for what is the limit of the residuals. We see that the blue line and red line are very consistent with this ideal GB background. Also, there are a lot of things we can do in the future listed here. So in our results, we did some preliminary study on data less problem of GB signals, space-based gravitational detectors, and we made some improvements. but there are still limitations because we made some approximation simplifications, so some method may not be used for more realistic data. And so this remains the question of how GBSIEVER will perform for more real data analysis. That's all about my talks. Thank you for listening.